Hey everybody, this is Charlie Musselwhite, and you're listening to Athena After Dark. I ain't lying. Thank you, baby.
Let me unmute the mic. I love listening to Charlie Musselwhite. I'm so lucky. If you guys like blues music, you have to check him out for sure. Well, hello. Welcome back to another Monday night episode of Athena After Dark. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad everybody's watching. I'm going to do my best to keep up with the comments, but you guys know I have a little bit of a attention deficit disorder when it comes to reading and doing the thing. One day someone will come back and push buttons for me, so I don't have to have that issue, but we're going to get through it. All right, so I hope you guys had a great week. I know I sure did. Always a challenge. Everything is new and fresh. And hi, Miss Ivy, I see you out there. Yeah, so it's been quite an adventure, and we got a few good things to talk about. We have a fabulous guest tonight. She is amazing. I can't wait to share her with all of you. I look forward to it, and I'm gonna actually work on what I noticed. I say absolutely fabulous 20,000 times an episode. So I'm working on that. We're going to find some better words to use. All right. Well, let's kickstart this baby and get it rolling. I'm super excited for tonight. Okay. Upcoming events. Let's see if my buttons work right. Okay. Smoke Out. Oh, by the way, if you guys get a chance, go to smokeoutrally.com. Miss Lisa Boots, I see you. Thank you. I wore my hair like this just for you. I knew it too. I knew you would say that. I hope your leg is better. I know it's broken, but I hope you're feeling better. My friend Miss Boots out there, just for you guys to know what a diehard real woman she is. That woman broke her leg, and the next day she wasn't missing her hot air balloon trip. She went anyways. I love it. I'm so blessed. So yeah, I'm gonna actually say that smokeoutrally.com. Holy smackaroli, on Facebook everywhere. Miss Cheryl, there's so many different places. Cycle Source Magazine to get clips. I'm bummed I missed it. The Hall of Fame, Smokeout Hall of Fame, Builders Hall of Fame awards. Papa B, Jeff Cochran. Super shout out to them. So many, everybody that was involved. It was off the chain. If you go to Jess Rips, she had really good videos and pictures and stuff like that. And I will see you guys there next year. We'll talk about why I wasn't there here shortly. Okay, so upcoming events. We still have some left here. Okay, so Ocean City, Maryland, the OC Bike Fest. So this one's supposed to be a really good one. It's coming up this weekend. I want to go. I'm not going to make it this year, but next year. And anybody that's there, please send me pictures because I'd love to see some photos and know what I'm getting into. Okay. And then we have September 26th through the 29th in Reno and Virginia City, Nevada. Street Vibrations. That's another one that's supposed to be really, really good event. These are ones I want to go to, so that's why I'm putting them up here. All right. And then, well, October 17th through the 20th, you guys know where I'll be for sure. 32nd Annual Biketoberfest. Okay. And the reason that we go to Daytona, the reason most of us chopperheads go to Daytona, Willie's Tropical Tattoo, Chopper Time, Old School Chopper Show. It is the greatest show on two wheels. I have to say that. And I'm not biased either. Well, maybe a little now, but fantastic time. We had 194 entries at the Bike Week one. Okay. And then the High Seas Rally. That's the end of October. Beginning. I have something blocking my screen. Anyways, you guys see the dates there. It's, I think, like the 28th through the 2nd or something like that of November, October 28th through November 22nd. I believe it's a Halloween thing. This is another one. I won't get an opportunity to go to that one because, as everybody knows, I get seasick. So if you don't know it, you do now. That's for sure. Yeah. And I've thought about the Dramamine, all the good stuff, and maybe one of these days I'll have enough guts, or at least I'll investigate how I get off the ship if it doesn't work out for me. Because if that's an option, then I probably go at least give it a shot. Because then, I'm not chicken to try anything. I just don't want to get, ruin anybody else's good time. Okay. Oh yeah, we have a fantastic show tonight. Okay, so we're gonna do fan 5 good things. And so this is really good because I figured this out and it's pretty good. Okay, so I'm super humbled. Again, an AAD follower wrote in to tell me how I have helped change their perspective, which you guys know I love that. So here it is. He says, I'm writing to say I appreciate your natural, happy, and positive attitude. And I've found that 5 good things can change your outlook. So thanks, Ken, Sarasota, Florida. These are his 5 good things. Okay. Waking up every day. That's always a good one. We like that one. Getting to spend my life with my best friend and partner, Denise. Aw, Miss Denise. He thinks the world of you. That's awesome. You're really number 1 on the list. Of course, breathing is important, so that's probably why, but that makes you top priority. Okay, taking pride in the work I do. Custom furniture. Very nice. Always have to have some good furniture. That's working with your hands too. And it's nice to see that, it's not coming from some box store where some assembly is required, because we know how that goes. So if you care to share the link and you're watching this, please send it. We'll put it up on our friends page so that people can check out your furniture and possibly order some. Okay, and then being a dog person. I understand that. I'm an animal person, but I get the whole dog person thing. And then number 5 is riding more than most through the year. Florida riding is the best in the winter. Yes, I would have to agree with that. Most definitely and wholeheartedly. We don't get 365 24/7, but we get pretty gosh darn close. So that's always a bonus there. So, okay, that was our fan 5 good things. Thank you, Ken, for writing in. I appreciate it. And if you send 5 good things, check me out. Watch this. I'm gonna do it. I have this little thing, the captions. I know where they are, but yeah, you can actually send it right there. So for Ask Athena questions or your 5 good things, anything you got, actually, just send it to athenaafterdark@aol.com, or you can message at Athena After Dark Productions, and we'll get it. And if it's something that I choose to use that week, we'll go ahead. I do my best to at least answer everybody, even though I can't use them all here. I do that. So keep writing and keep sending them in. Please send pictures. Send pictures in JPEG format. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay. All right. So you guys know, if you want biker news, definitely have to get bikernet.com. So Bandit is super cool. His magazine has been around for a very long time. He has a cool cantina. It has like pinup girls, fiction, how-tos. There's a lot of stuff. But the thing that I love about it is you can find all the parts, all performance parts, everything for choppers, the technology, the riding gear. The best part is the racing. We're going to talk about that here in a minute for sure. And then Grease and Gears TV. Okay, Grease and Gears TV. So just so everybody knows, it's like the Netflix of motorcycle content. I missed the Smokeout Rally, but as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and go to Grease and Gears TV and see what I see for footage, because they had crazy, what was it called? Shithouse drags. That's what it was called. So they took like a kind of a old outhouse style thing that they built, and they put it on the back of these motorcycles, and they gave the people inside a mask, a catcher's mask, and a chest protector. So I saw video clips of all kinds of stuff, the mini bike races, all that. So Smokeout Rally, but Grease and Gears TV, if you go, you subscribe. It's not expensive. They do have free content also, but check it out, because it is definitely something. If you want to go to an event, you're not sure what it is, they probably have content, racing, all kinds of stuff. Speaking of racing, our guest tonight is a racer. She's it's very impressive, the stuff that she does. We'll get into that. But I was talking about Bandit and 5-ball racing, and then Barry Wardlaw is bringing back the assault weapon. So that is a land speed motorcycle that had raced before, and he is redoing it and he's going to race it. He's got down to his racing weight. He's got his suit that fits him now. So you could check out Barry Wardlaw's page on Facebook. And then I will make sure that we actually have some links, and we're going to do what we can to do a fundraiser for my birthday so that we can send him money, like sponsorship, like all of us get together and sponsor, even if it's $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever. So I'll get that information up because we want to do that. He's going to go to Bonneville next year, and I want to go. Me and Miss Gypsy are going to get our cheerleading outfits, and I know that sounds crazy, but we are. No, we'll pit crew for him, and then when he's out there doing the thing, we'll get our pom poms, and we'll do our. It'll be cool. I promise it'll be cool. You guys know it will be. Okay, so I hope you guys can all. Send me pics, Miss Boots. I hope you guys all can hear me pretty good. Okay, so, and I get all excited about the guests who are talking about racing and all that good stuff. Okay, I have an announcement, but let's do the Ask Athena first. So, okay, let's get that done. Alrighty, so Ask Athena. Dear Athena, I wanted to know if you have an opinion about which fluids to put in my 2010 Harley Davidson. I have 15 different guys in our circle with 150 different reasons: foam, detergents, viscosity, cling. I feel like I should have never asked because I have no fucking clue what any of that shit means. I don't want to screw up and put the wrong stuff in it. You seem to tell it like it is. Can you explain and possibly recommend so I know what the hell I'm doing? Truly appreciated, Teresa from Eustis. Okay, Miss Teresa. How do we say it? We always laugh and joke. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So we'll just get that disclaimer out of the way because there's 1,000 ways that you can debate all kinds of stuff with fluids. But for me, I use regular dead dinosaur oil, not synthetic blend. I do so because the cling that you talk about and the viscosity, those are all things that are necessary in oil. So synthetic blend is made for more of a plain bearing, which in a car on the rods and there's no needle bearings, or well, I'm tongue tied now because I'm just like, I have all these pictures in my head, but a plain bearing is just metal on metal. It goes like this, right? So the synthetic blend oil just goes in there and friction happens. Well, for us and our motorcycles, we have bearings that have rollers and needles inside them. So they move inside the bearing. So what we need cling. So cling makes it stick to it. And then viscosity is how thick the oil is and how fast it breaks down. I guess if that's the best layman's terms I could give you on that regard. Kind of like for us here in Florida, it's 95 degrees. I'm riding my shovel head. I want as much viscosity as I can get and something that doesn't break down. For me, I choose to use Lucas 50 weight oil, regular oil, not a synthetic blend, in my motorcycle. And you can debate all kinds of things because there's good oils out there. There's Spectral and there's there's Mobile Racing. Everybody has a different thing that they like. Some foam because of the aeration in there, some because of the heat and the vibration, and then some have little additives that you don't necessarily want or you do want. But for me, I choose Lucas because when you turn the bottle around, it's made and processed here in America. So for me, that's my reasoning behind it, because I do everything I can to support my country's products. And then if I can't find that with a quality product, I will move towards something outside of the country, which is not a problem. But I just do my best to support here. Now, with that said, in the primary and the transmission, I use Bel-Ray fluid. So Don put Bel-Ray in his transmission, and I used to ride next to him. This was long ago, before we were even married, when we were friends, and we would all ride in a group together. And his transmission was always so quiet. And I was like, how come you don't ever hear any noise in your transmission? He's like, it's the fluid. So the Bel-Ray transmission fluid I like, and I also like it in the primary. So that's just what my preference is. Again, you kind of got to do the research and find out what you like. There's all kinds of information out there on the internet. So you just have to take the time to read it. And then you'll form your own opinion on what you like and what you don't like and what to look for. Like when you take your oil cap off and you see a bunch of foam in there, or, certain things like that. Some people don't like color. Like some people don't like texture of their food. Some people don't like color of oil. I can't even tell you. So yeah, do some homework and learn and find your own opinion. But that's just my take on it. So I appreciate you writing in more than you know. Like I said, that's it's just a thing. There's so many different variations in what people prefer. That's just my preference. So again, thanks for writing in. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, now you guys ready? I turned on the little caption, but I never turned it off. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm giddy. So we're finally got all our stuff out of storage. We're moving in, putting things up in our house and all that stuff like that. And I got a lot of stuff going on. And when you move, you find things in boxes, right? So I can honestly say that, wow, what a freaking heavy week this was, spiritually, emotionally, looking back at things, self-reflecting, looking at childhood memories and all kinds of stuff, and memories of my kids when they were small, and just all of it. It's been a very heavy week. So, but very good, because it's always good to go back and revisit some things that, you don't necessarily understand at a certain age, but when you go back a little later and you look back at it, you have a better perception of what the hell it all is and why. So with that said, everybody knows I've been doing motorcycles for a really long time. I started working on motorcycles when I was 15, and that was out of my own necessity so that I can fix and repair and be self-sufficient in the world, so that I didn't have to worry about being safe and stuck somewhere. So that was my whole thing. And there's a whole long story to it. It'll be in the book, Miss Boots. I'm working on it. Some of the heavy stuff I had to reflect on this week, I think, was my blockage. So I think I got past it, and I'm putting it in the book too. Got to tell all of it, right? So yeah. So I was a housewife, a mom. I worked in auto parts my whole life. Got into motorcycle shop when I was 15, close to 16. That was my thing. And yes, hindsight's 2020, Miss Ivy. So I kind of I grew up in motorcycles, and I had other professions. My mom got sick with Lou Gehrig's. I stayed home. I took care of her. I had 2 small kids. I had gone through divorce. I had gone through another strange, crappy relationship, whatever. My mom got sick. She passed away. Life happens. Things go on. And I had gotten my paralegal degree. So I worked in law offices. I've done all these things that I've done. But the thing that I've enjoyed most, and that's mostly attribute that to Don and his passion for it, is I've been fortunate enough to own a motorcycle shop and make motorcycles, watch him with his genuine, real talent, and fix things that nobody else can figure out. It's kind of crazy. They talk to him. They talk to me too, but in a different way. I like to fabricate, and I'm not so much the repair. I can repair, but I remember a lot of things. I can point you to something in a law book, but like he does with looking for something to fix, he can just tell you right off the top of his head. So with that said, but in 20 years of having a motorcycle shop, I've been fortunate enough to build relationships, and have opportunities to have true, real friendships with people, and just everyone know that I base my opinions and my reputation on things that I will put my name behind. Like, I don't use crappy aftermarket parts. If I know that the part will fail, I choose not to use it. I always do my best to use the manufacturer part, if I can, because again, for me, that's a quality part. You see, we do that. But when it comes down to it, it's all about the relationships and the friendships, and that they know that you really know what you're doing. Okay. And listen, I've been on the side of the road with a lot of my colleagues who aren't all women, and fixed stuff and repaired stuff with them while they were fixing something. I was fixing something else. So they know it's very real. So about 3 weeks ago, Oh yeah, last week I was telling you. The last episode, I was telling you guys about the cat, and I had stuck the whiskers and the nose out, and a little bit of ears. Well, here comes the top of the head and the rest of the body. Okay, so about 3 weeks ago, I was offered an opportunity, and I had a chance to try the product, test the product, and being on the ground floor of bringing this product from France to the North American continent. So, with that said, I am now officially the director of the North American division for EMC Shocks. So, this suspension company is absolutely phenomenal. The owner, Francois, and his story of how he got to where he is, and his design of this industry changing technology within a suspension is just something that it really it floored me from the beginning. And then I put the suspension on my motorcycle, my Super Glide that I got, and I was just floored. I am forever just going to be grateful that that door opened on that day for me to go ahead and walk through it. So I'm looking forward. And if you all got a request to like the EMC Shocks page, yeah, that was me. It's legit. It's real. And everything will be updated. Now we're going to have an official launch. We'll be at SEMA. I have some very, very wonderful, wonderful people who, again, the relationships that I've built are going to kind of direct me and guide me when I find myself not feeling secure about having the knowledge to move forward. That's all. Just kind of like, when you can open an encyclopedia up to get the information that you need, you just need to know where to look. I'm lucky like that. So I'm very excited about that. Now, I do have pictures. So let's see if I do this right. Okay, here we go. All right, so they're there. So there's the shocks that were on my motorcycle. They're fabulous. I'm going to explain it all to you guys. I'll put it out there. That's the cartridges for the front end. They're beautiful in the box, and they look so fabulous on there. And then forget about just looks. There is our logo. So just so you guys know, that is definitely you will see. Now I'm not giving up my motorcycle shop. I still am. The guys have it. I'm very fortunate. Don and Sugar and my staff, they're good. Once a week I get to go in and do all the administrative stuff that we all love. And then moving forward with this, it allows me more time to go ahead and do the show and work on the projects and the fabricating and the stuff that I enjoy doing. So I'm looking forward to it. And you guys, I promise you're going to want these on your motorcycle. So technical difficulties. Did I lose you? Miss Ivy. I got it. No pics. Okay. Well, let's see. Somehow I didn't do that right. Okay. All right. So, well, enough of that nonsense. It's not nonsense, but technical difficulties. All right. So let's see if we can do this. All righty. Here we go. Don't forget to support our friends, Viking Bags, Cycle Source Magazine, Paco, S&S, Chicago Motorcycle Supply, Willie's Tropical Tattoo, Baker Drivetrain, Farm Life Creamery. If you guys like cheese curds, Miss Laura Clock has some of the craziest, coolest. Palm Beach, Harley Davidson, Open Road Radio, Miss Gina Woods. She comes on right before us, an hour before. Miss Maggie, South Country Inn, the best bed and breakfast in Daytona Beach, Florida. Biker Bells, Sturgis Buffalo Chip. That is the ride to be on in Sturgis and also in Daytona for Bike Week. Tobacco Road, Harley Davidson, Mark and Ashley. So awesome. The history on that dealership and the love that they have for it. It's incredible. Teddy Morris, Harley Davidson, Destination Daytona. Very, very great people there. Rogue at Biker Life Matters. Biker Lives Matter. So that's freedom fighting. It's anything and everything you want to know. Rogue's going to get you there for the information. We have bikernet.com, Bandit. We talked about that. Twisted Tea with Billy. And then I have not gotten a chance to update the page. We also have La Para seats, fabulous. Jeffrey Phipps custom seats also, and then Clockworks. So we have our, oh my, can I just tell you, I am not really happy with my video editing skills. I'm going to have to take a community class for that. I pretty much massacred it. So I have a friend, Tiff. I would hit her up and then I felt guilty about hitting her up because, friend in need is always a friend indeed. I don't like to be the friend that always needs shit. Anyways, so I'm working on the videos. We're doing good. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get a little crash course because I know somebody's coming around this week to do videos and I'm going to watch them edit. So that's going to be exciting. Okay, you guys know I love my guests. That for me is the best part. We're going to go through some pictures here and we're going to bring her in. Okay, so this young lady is very, very, okay, this is so cool because this is her at work, okay? This is what she does. She's incredibly talented and adventurous. I'm honored to have her here, actually. She's an incredible photographer. She does photos for Revolution Motorcycle Magazine, Canadian Hot Rodder Magazine. She is also a mechanic. Check her out. That's her at work. She's working on hot rods. I love that picture. She's also the spokeswoman and driver for the Iron Dinosaur race team. Now that's taking a break from work, obviously. Great photos. Everybody knows that I ask the guests to send photos that they like. So for me, that really matters. But I slid a couple in here that I like too. So it was very good. All right, now, if you're going to do this all flat, right? Is that not the way to do it? I'm definitely saying that's how to do it. Gorgeous. I love the shot. It's that movie too. Sylvester Stallone movie. I can't think of the name of it. And there she is. I love photos like that where you photograph in the mirror. That for me is perfect. All right. And that's it. Look at that. Look at how just peaceful that looks out on the sand. It's crazy cool. And if you guys hear noise back there, it's thundering and lightning, and there's a little bit of rain going on, and Dawn's cooking something in the kitchen. All right, look at that. Now that's her. She's out taking photos. And she got the Bonneville car. Craft Services is over there. All right. And then she's also very active, Sacred Place, trying to stop the death of the National Monument, because that's what Bonneville is. We'll talk more about that with her when we bring her in. Look at that. All right. Iron Dinosaur stuff. Is that not the coolest thing? So I have a lot of friends that race on the salt, and it's so cool. But I just think that it's super neat that she just gets out there and she's going for it. Now there she is with hot rods, and that's her Buick Riviera. I had a 69 Buick Riviera. I remember that car was so cool. No. Okay, look at that. Look at that picture. Like, is that not the most captivating photo of just Mother Nature and the universe? How cool is that? Fabulous photographer. All right, so now this picture here, this is Joe Roy. Like, I can, is my video not working? Hold on, can you guys see any of this? Hear any of this? Let's go back. Uh-oh. You can hear, but you can't see. That's so weird. I wonder why the pictures aren't working. Okay, hold on. Let me find out here what I did. I might have pushed a button. That's always fun. I love it. Okay, well, let's see if we can do it. And if I can't do it, then I'm going to go ahead and we'll just see what I can do here. I will put them up on the website. That's a bummer. Okay. Yeah, because these are good pictures. See how that goes? There's always something lovely. All right, everybody. So we're doing it this way. I have really good photos. I will put them up on the website. I'll ask my technician when I see them if they can help me figure that out. My apologies to our guest. All right. So we're going to go ahead and bring Miss Liz in here. So, all right, everybody. I see messages. I see all that's there is the background of colors. That's so weird. That's It's probably some setting. Yeah, I'm pretty good like that. I could definitely mess up some stuff now when it comes down to that, for sure. Um, okay, so how do I do that? Let's see if I can get some. I'm just gonna see if I can. Maybe I put the layover in. I'm so sorry. My apologies, everybody. Hang tight 1 minute. I definitely need to make sure I have better technology. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna do the best I can. We're just gonna say I will put the pictures up because we do not want to waste any time. So, anyways, let's just get through this. Like I said, this woman is incredible. She's a racer. I'm bummed out that my pictures aren't working, but there's always some kind of glitch somewhere. It wouldn't be fun and adventurous if we didn't have some kind of stuff. I'll work on that though. Okay, so like I said, she takes photographs for Revolution Motorcycle magazine and Canadian Hot Rodder magazine. She's a mechanic. She is the spokesperson and a racer for Iron Dinosaur Racing. I will also post the link so you can get a hold of her on the webpage. And she's a woman that I just really can't wait to get to know better. Incredible. I admire and respect her through her work already and her accolades. So we're going to bring her in, and we're going to just go ahead and bring in Miss Liz. Do this. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so honored you want to chat with me.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love everything that you do. I'm bummed that the photos didn't work. I apologize. I'll have to work on that.
It's always something,
There's always
honestly.
something, and as long as you could just laugh at it, smile, and go, okay, well, at least I got you. I didn't get just the pictures, so I'll be great. I'll be grateful for that one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No problema.
No worries. So yeah, so just to give everybody a little bit of who you are. So you're a photographer. You're an automotive photojournalist, but you are
Yeah.
also a racer and you're also a mechanic. Now,
Yes.
there's a picture in the stream that I didn't get to show, and it's your feet coming up from the backside of some seats of an old hot rod car that you were doing something to. So,
Yeah.
is that your thing? That's your jam? Is your old hot rod cars? Is that what you work on?
Yeah, I've had several different jobs over the years. Definitely restoration is kind of like the last two major jobs that I had that were not photography. So I worked at a shop in New Jersey that does classic cars and hot rods. They're called Valhalla Auto Restoration, and
Okay.
then my last job was restoring World War II armored vehicles, so Sherman tanks and half tracks, and
Oh,
so I got to restore tanks as my last full-time job. And then right now I'm bouncing between things. And so I'm doing like a little bit of hot rods, a little bit of social media and photography, and a lot of racing. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But yeah, I do a lot of restoration. But my last full time was World War II tanks. So yeah,
I love that. How cool is that? That's so like, oh, I do restoration, What do you restore? Tanks, like okay. Like that's so neat though, because like all the little idiosyncrasies inside of all that, the switches and the lights
Mhm.
and the this and the that. And as simple
Yeah.
as people would think it is, it's also very complex. There's a lot
Yeah.
to it. The turret's gotta move, the thing's gotta go, yeah, there's a lot to that.
There's a lot of nuts and bolts in a
Yeah.
Sherman tank. So
Oh,
once you take it all apart down to every single nut and bolt, you look at it all apart on the floor and you go, okay, so it's about a like 2.5 year restoration. But like when you're done, I got to go for a ride the other day in the M36 Jackson tank destroyer that I helped restore. I got to go for a ride in it, and it's just kind of surreal, like getting to ride around in something you helped restore back from unoperational to, and it has so much history. And it's really cool because when you do anything related to hot rods, especially the early heydays of hot rodding and land speed racing, in the 40s and 50s,
right.
it's around this, these guys coming home from the war. And so
Mhm.
it all ties together, anything mechanical. It's a very small world when you love machines, and so everything kind of plays into one another. It's really cool.
I love that. And that's the universe
Yeah.
telling you, hey, listen, it's all encompassing. So just take a
Yeah.
little bit of here, a little bit of there, and just make it all your own kind of soup. I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So
Yeah.
now you've been doing photography, and I
Yeah.
love your photography, and I'm gonna
Thank
put it up on the webpage. I'm so bummed because those pictures are awesome.
you.
I did put up a couple pictures in, probably because I put pictures in that you didn't send me, because I sent. So
I love that.
there's a picture of you with Joe Roy, and he's the Canadian Hot
Yes.
Rod Hall of Fame. Like, he's like fabulously iconic. Like, I'm
I
just
love
like, check her out. She's hanging out with Joe Roy. And then I go down and Gene, what's Gene's
Gene Winfield. Gene
yeah,
Winfield.
Winfield. And I'm just like, so like, he's classic cars. Like, that's legendary. And
Well,
I'm just
Joe
like,
Roy helped chop our car. I love Joe Roy. He's such a fantastic guy. Honestly, I have so much respect for him, but I love that you know him because you get it. He's just such a cool person. And when we were chopping our 50 Chevy with Gene Winfield, Joe Roy was
I was
there. So
like,
thank you to Joe Roy because he's
I
great.
was like, wow, this is incredible. Because, like, for me, I kind of get the same thing. I mean, like, that would be like for me, working on the Cannonball with Dale Waxler. I got to work on motorcycles with him. He's iconic in our world. Or
Yeah.
I get to be at shows with Donnie Smith, and he's a builder, and him and Ron Finch will be like, hey, you did a good job, and you're just like, okay, and it's just, it's like that. But I was just like, wow, check that out. And I just thought, because for me, it's like, you seem to have that very same personality where
Yeah.
you can appreciate the history that they have. So like, I take people all the time to veterans homes. Like, we'll go to the hospitals or the homes, and we bring them out to see the motorcycles, and then you just sit down and you shut up and you listen to the
Yeah.
stories that they'll talk to each other, or if they want to tell you something about. But then you're just like, wow. And we think that we've seen something. It doesn't even in comparison. Like, and I just think that's so cool. I love that about your persona and your personality, and also that you volunteer for railroad days.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny. You're echoing so many times like this same kind of thing that I definitely like live by. And I have a question mark tattooed behind my ear to say like life's about asking questions and listening to the people around you and all that. And growing up running steam locomotives and getting to work on full size locomotives as well with like the most amazing people. You grow up with like World War II veterans or race car drivers or all these amazing casts of characters, tool and die makers, and the train world is really where I had my beginnings. So it's just really cool. Yet like you get to meet all these people and put together, as you said, all this kaleidoscope of knowledge and stories and experiences, and it's just be a sponge and try to absorb a little bit of everything from everywhere.
Yes. And so my son works for the FEC. Actually, he's been with the railroad for 5 years, so that's cool. But my nanny worked for the Chicago Illinois Central for like
Oh,
30
cool.
years. Yeah, she retired from there. So it's pretty cool, like, we have that
Yeah.
whole thing. But so let's talk about the racing, because
Yes.
like, that's always, everybody's always, people think you go out there to race to go and be competitive against others. But
Yeah.
from what I read about you, like, okay, like, I dig your Riviera because I had an old Riviera. So, and I
Yeah,
love classic
69.
cars. That car is awesome. I saw that and I was like, oh, that, and it's sweet, it's clean, it's totally like, it's cherry for what it is. Like, that is, it's just, it could be your daily driver. It's so cool, and that's what it is. But when it comes down to it, like, you're out there racing and you're not competing against other people. You're competing against yourself and the machine,
Yeah.
and your endurance, and what, not just what you're willing to put out there on the salt when you do it, but all the frustrations and the headaches and the heartaches and then the joy and the happiness that comes with all of that. That, I mean, how old are you? I mean, we don't ever ask each other that, but like,
Yeah.
you seem like such an old soul, and it's so cool.
I always joke. I tell people I'm 74, but I just moisturize a lot.
I love it. I
But
love it.
truly, I'm actually I'm 33. I'm
Nice.
33. Yeah,
Very
but
cool.
I've everything that I've ever done though in my life, I've always spent time with people older than me. like hanging out with people in their 90s, you know, and I'm like, I mean, older than me. So getting to do the train stuff and then the racing and then anything I've been involved with, I've always been involved with people much, much older than me. So I've been very fortunate to, like, as I said, be a sponge and get to experience a lot of
and that's
kind
where
of
the
interactions.
that's where the even keel temper laid back, because that's the one thing they teach you, because they ain't in no hurry. They're not in a hurry to put up with your crap, and they're not in a hurry to teach you anything. But if you're patient and you're around long enough, they'll let you in. Yeah. So I
you
get
have
it.
to earn it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally get that. That is so awesome. So now Iron Dinosaur Racing, you're not only the spokeswoman, but you are a racer.
Yes.
So how fast did you go?
Lucky. So my personal top speed now, when I was at Bonneville, I got the car up to 178 miles an hour. But to get my last license, you can't go over 174 through the traps. So through the 2.25 miles. So what I did was I got up to 178 and then I brought it back down. So I coasted through the traps at 169. So I wasn't going over the speed so that I was able to get my license, but I did get up to 178, but that's my personal high score.
Awesome. That is fabulous. You do any other kind of racing besides this? You do drag racing too, right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I do drag racing, some dirt track, like circle track racing, but like I do it with the vintage eliminators. So it's all older hot rods. You know, and I also do drag racing on asphalt and on dirt. And I had a really bad motorcycle accident a few years ago, so I stopped riding on the street. I didn't really ever get started. But then this past summer, I had an opportunity to ride a little 250 Yamaha at the dirt drags. I was just kind of tooling around the pits, and I accidentally tooled around. I had, you know, helmet on and full gear, and I was just kind of going around the pits, and I accidentally ended up in the line for the race, and I ended up winning 4 out of 5 drag races. So I was just like, so I ride mini bikes. And I drag raced a bike once since my accident. So I don't do any street riding since the accident, but like I worked for the motorcycle magazine for over 10 years. So I have a passion for bikes, but it's a different kind.
When I formed my question too, because I do my best to do my research, and I did get that you had an accident, so I didn't really like kind of go there because you're focused on other things more so. However, next year for Sturgis or in September for Smokeout Rally, if you care to join me, mini bike races, we could do it. Smokeout Rally is way more fun, and that's a lot more fun. But maybe next year you could meet me there and we'll go do it.
I would be honored. Honestly, I love mini bike racing. It's so much fun. I really do love it.
There's so many incredible women there that are they would just love you. I'm sure they're all going to watch this, whether some don't stay up that late on Mondays, but everybody goes back through the week and watches it. So it's super cool. I
want to go and document it. I want to document all the women, like, cause that's something that I absolutely love is I got to go to Born Free 6.
Yes.
So, and honestly, that show, that was amazing. Just kind of, I approach everything as a photojournalist. So for me to go to Sturgis, went through Sturgis like the week after. I was on a road trip, and it was after the week. And I've seen what the layout of Sturgis is. I have an idea kind of, but it's completely different with all the people, but I want to go and document it because I've never photographed Sturgis.
Yeah. So and there's some real beautiful stuff there, especially like, my friend Laura Clock. I have other good friends that live there that, they know all the good places, like Nicole Lockwood. They know, they take you to the treasures because they're also very spiritual people. So their mind, they see things that sometimes other people don't, but photographers always get that. They see it. That's a vision. I have to introduce you to Brian too. He photographs for Laura and he's phenomenal. So that's super cool. I love that. Anytime. If I can be of assistance,
awesome. Thank you.
Any of that, I love that. Okay, cool. So
it's going to happen. That's positive thinking. It's going to happen.
Yes, most definitely. So what do you have coming up for you? Anything that anybody can watch out for that you got that we're going to promote right here?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have like a real kind of smaller list than I'm hoping, because you're always looking forward to the future. But my short list includes next weekend I'm going to be drag racing at the South Mountain Speedway, which is in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Then I'm going to be going to Arkansas again with the team. I have my 3 records that I have are with the ECTA at the Arkansas Mile. I'm
Okay.
going back with the team in the spring for the spring fling, and we're possibly going to be going to Loring, Maine. So I'm really thankful to the team that all the hard work that they put in, and we have our wonderful sponsors as well. So I might actually be going in October. I might be going to meet up with our tuner Blake of Avid Speed. So I might be trying to do some drag racing in like 1,000 horsepower cars to get some more speed under my belt. So I might try to go and do some southern drag racing in Alabama in
Cool.
October. So I might be doing that, as well as going to Talladega for the Aero Wars event for the it's a book my father and I have been working on for about 4 years now. On Bobby Isaac, who is the 1970 Dodge Challenger
Challenger.
race car driver. He
Right. Yes.
yeah, it's so we're doing a book on him. We did a book on
Cool.
Aaron Brown's car. It's a tribute car, but we're going to be going to Talladega with the team potentially and taking photos and stuff like that and continuing that journey. And so that's going to be going on. And of course, more circle track and drag racing and mini bikes and everything else that's going on. So
I love it. Okay, so I'm just saying right now, somewhere in the middle of all of it, if you need somebody to sweep the ground at the pit, I will be on the pit crew. I can start sweeping. I'm good with that.
You're welcome anytime. Come racing with us. Anyway, like honestly, if you want to come and see the team for the Iron Dinosaur racing, we love having. We do a lot of like different events, be it for car shows and things like that. We're hoping to go to PRI with Icon Pistons. We're not sure.
Okay.
That's we're always hoping to go different places and get new sponsors and things like that, because it's really fun to race at Bonneville. But of course, C85 it's not the cheapest fuel, and driving all the way out there and all these different things and all the people that help out. And we're always looking for new sponsors and wanting to go to different shows and things like that. And so it's just a giant, exciting adventure that I just can't wait to see what happens or where we go. But if you ever want to join in and meet us at Arkansas for the spring fling, come on and come visit us and come meet up with us and be part of the team.
I
have
a
cookies.
Nice. I like
that.
Yeah,
we always have cookies.
I like cookies. Cookies are good. Yeah. I'm definitely down with that. We'll definitely have to get into that for sure. Absolutely. That's exciting. And I'll make sure that everybody has the correct links so that they can follow you, because I think I just love your whole spirit is super cool. And everybody that knows me knows I'm all about lifting people up. We all kind of lift each other up, but it's always cool to have the ability to show a new someone that, as much as you want to lift them up to have them on the show, just by having them, you feel lifted up. Like I feel so engaged in all this. I'm ready to go racing. I'm ready. I'm down.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I can't wait for us to go mini bike racing. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yes. And then when it gets cold wherever you are, and you're just like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm in sunny South Florida for sure.
That sounds wonderful.
All right. So how do you feel about some questions?
Oh, love them.
All right.
And I love questions. So
okay, so we're going to start out with some of the little just for fun questions. So dogs or cats?
I love dogs, but I am a cat person. I've always had cats.
Yeah. You have a favorite color cat, or just any cat in general?
Well, my cat, her name is General So-So, and she's silver, and she's quite boxy. And we like to fight each other, like play fight, but she's pretty cool. The silver, I'd say. I love her. So.
That's awesome. General So-So. I like that.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, she's fluffy.
You'll have to text me a picture of her. I like that.
Okay, so,
apples or oranges?
Apples.
Peanut butter with them, or just stock?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was thinking like if it's between apple juice and orange juice, the only time I drink orange juice is like a screwdriver. But in the morning, I love apple juice, so I'll go with apple juice.
Okay, that
Yeah,
works. Hotel or camping?
I'd say between those two, it's camping. But if I had to, I prefer motel over hotel anytime.
See,
Motel,
there you go. Okay, I like
absolutely.
that.
I
That is
spend a lot
very
of time
good.
on the road. Motel all the way.
Hotel all the way,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Slow or fast?
Fast.
Fast. I figured that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so breaking or making?
See, everybody probably thinks it's breaking for like breaking records, but it's making. I am an arts and crafts monster. I was just doing embroidery and I love making things. I'm constantly making things. So
I'm with
yeah.
you on that. I just told my grandson, he's 6, and I always make his Halloween costume. I'm like, okay, listen, you got 2 weeks till the deadline. I have to have the final decision because between the beginning of June and the middle of September, we've already been 15 things. So
Yeah.
like at the second week in September, because it's all handmade, I'm like, you have to choose. That's the cutoff date. So he's
What
hem
is it?
hawing, but yeah, he asked me if I could make him a scuba diver. And I'm like, scuba diver, and he's like the one with the cage on his head. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping he sticks with that. We got like 11 days left. So
So I know my friend Wayne is probably going to watch this. Hi, Wayne. So my friend Wayne is actually used to do that. He was a Navy diver with the cage and whatever, and he actually worked for Disney for a while. But he actually was the guy, and he said one of his coolest tricks was he could, if he looked face down, and he could open up the little door and eat a banana and then close it again for the kids at Disney. So
oh, I
hi,
love
Wayne.
it.
Yeah.
How cool. Hi, Wayne. That is so
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah, and everybody looks at me and they're just like, can you make that? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
He like when he was 3, he asked me to make him a dump truck, and I made him a dump truck. It was a dump truck for real. It was lights, everything, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm liking that. I'm with you on that. I'm very crafty.
Yeah,
But
Halloween's
yeah,
the best.
he
Halloween.
back up to the door and he's like, load it up, you know. And I was like, oh my god, no bucket. That's fine.
Cute.
Okay, so it's really hard to pick, but if you had to pick, do you have
Yeah.
a favorite song?
I don't think I have a favorite song. But that's like almost comparable to like, if you had like 3 wishes, like if you could make one of your wishes that you could have more wishes.
Yeah.
I think that would be it. But like, for me, my favorite music artist is Chris Whitley. He's a guy that not a lot of people know of, but yeah, Chris Whitley is my favorite music artist. But I'm into everything, to
So
be
what
honest.
genre is Chris Whitley? Because I'm gonna look him up for sure.
Chris Whitley, I guess it's not folk, it's not alternative, maybe country almost,
Okay.
but it's strange. Country blues. He's a very different kind of sound, and
I love it.
I love that he in person. I got to meet him in person and see him in concert, but he could make one guitar sound like 4 or 5 guitars.
I mean, I like
yeah,
that.
he was pretty cool. Yeah, cool
True
guy.
talent for sure.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so when you're on the road, what would be your favorite food?
French fries and slushies. I'm pretty much made out of French fries and slushies. Yeah, slush puppies. And I actually am very serious about slushies. I wrote in college for the short time I went to college, I had to write an essay on any subject I wanted, but it had to be like 5,000 words. So I picked slushies, and I went through the whole history and the different types of slushies and all that. So I'm quite serious. It's slush puppies.
Yeah, slush puppies. Real with the like chopped up ice, not like the Slurpee where it's frozen poofy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, not with the carbonation or any of that. I don't like that.
See, growing up here in Florida when I was a kid, that was pretty much, it was hard to find a 7-Eleven. We all had slush puppies.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't like icy. Like 7-Eleven does the ices where it's all like carbon.
Slurpee icy, yeah.
Yeah, I hate to admit how specific I am about slushies, but blue slush puppies are my favorite.
And I'm the same. I'm the same way. I'll go to restaurants specifically for a salad dressing, or I like this or I don't like that, and it's okay because it's what I like. And who else gonna get it for me if I don't get it, right? Like
exactly. Sonic does it right. I used to do it as a kid. I would put the nerds in myself. And then when I went to the US, because I'm from Canada, I went to Sonic for the first time. My mind was blown. They put the
They
nerds
put it in there.
for you. I
It's like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
couldn't believe it.
So, if you were a superhero, who would you be?
So definitely Tank Girl. Tank Girl is who I would be.
Tank Girl. I like that.
Tank
That's
Girl. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I use that handle on Instagram because it happens to be the job that I got. I got to work on tanks, but Tank Girl, it's a very strange film, but it's a fantastic comic book. So
I love
yeah,
it.
Tank
That's
Girl.
awesome.
Yeah.
My friend Ivy, her husband says, he says, she's busy. You're busy.
Oh gosh, yeah, and that's for sure. A lot of people ask me like the whole age thing, and I just forget how old I am because I'm just trying to say enjoy every experience that I can, and every day is a new experience. So I keep living like multiple lifetimes, hopefully in that sense. Like I'm very
Right.
fortunate. Yeah.
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 One day I was gonna sit down and just figure out how many days old I am. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, that it just seems like too much math today.
I have a thing on my iPad.
Conversion.
I actually know how many days old I am, and I put a thing on my Google Calendar to give me an alert for I think it was my 10,000th day, and I figured I was going to eat a thing of ice cream on that day.
I love it. How fabulous. I'm telling you, we have to hang
use
out.
this technology for something, right? Like,
This is so cool. We're definitely gonna have to hang out. We'll have a lot of fun. This is fabulous.
sure. This is
Love
great.
it. You are so funny. That's so cool. Okay, so if you were a cocktail or a mixed drink,
Yeah,
what would you be?
I would be a White Russian.
Okay.
Yep. Funny enough, I actually just watched The Big Lebowski, but that's not why. But
Big Lebowski's good, yes.
it's so good. But it's because when I'm quite well known for in the morning when I drink coffee, it's mostly creamer and then a bit of coffee, and I don't put sugar because I spill all the time and I don't like being sticky. So lots of creamer, and that's pretty much what a White Russian is. It's lots of creamer, Kahlua, which is pretty much coffee liqueur, and vodka. So that's all me right there. So
Right.
yeah,
So
it's perfect.
for anybody that's never had a chocolate Russian, we went to a place one time and the lady ran out of milk and she had brought chocolate milk with her.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I have chocolate milk. And I'm like, yeah, give it a try. Woo, dangerous. Bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Whoa.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And then another one is it's if you take like Sunny Delight, I think it is, or like any kind of pulpless orange juice, and you mix it with the vodka that's like vanilla flavored vodka, it ends up tasting like a creamsicle.
Oh my god, yeah, that's too bad. It's probably a good thing I stopped drinking. Like I don't drink a lot, a couple times a year because I have a hangover for like 2 weeks. But it's probably a good thing because they came out with all these flavors. Like I could be doing that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so let's get into some serious questions.
Yeah,
so, how did you get into photography?
So, actually, funny enough, it's actually a family thing. So, like, both my great grandfathers took photos. A lot of people don't know that, but like, one of my great grandfathers actually built a dash cam. I think it would have been in the 30s or 40s. Anyway, they built a dash cam to film their trip across Canada, and it's just been in my family to like document and do photography. Great grandpa, dad, me. And then my dad worked as an automotive photojournalist when I was growing up doing articles and stuff. And so I would always hang out with my dad and I would go to the racetracks and he's like looking at me. He's like, well, here's the camera. You know how it works. Go have fun. And I'd shoot in the pits and I would run around the track. And I grew up doing like the go-kart racing. And then we would do the different articles for the Montreal Gazette. We both ended up working together. I started really young, and to prove that I was actually the one taking the photo, he actually had to like take photos of me taking the photos because I was so young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to start really young because of him and because of people taking a chance and saying, okay, like give her the opportunity. Like she seems to know what she's doing. And so I got to start quite young, and I'm very fortunate for that.
How awesome.
Yeah.
So
like you did. You started at 15.
Yeah, I started out of necessity. Yeah, I just didn't want, I wanted to know what I knew, and I was intrigued by, but I'm that same way. I'm intrigued by everything. If there's something to learn, I want to dive in, and then you get to a point where you're just like, well, I know enough of that I'm not interested, or wow, I can keep going. You find what your lane is, and that's how that I'm the same way people say, how do you get to do all those different things? I'm like, I don't stop to think about it. I just keep doing. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I want to try that. Yeah, so yeah, for sure. So how did you get into racing?
So it actually was only, well, I've always wanted to race because I've always been like right there in the pits, or like sitting right there wanting to get to be the one in the seat kind of thing. But I've just been absorbing over the years. And then finally, it's over a year now. In April, it will be 2 years that I started racing. So that I actually started racing several years ago. I'd say it's about 2018. My dad and we were both hired to take photos of this car at Bonneville. And so we went out, we met the team, we took photos, we had an amazing time, and we're at the photo shoot shooting this car. And the owner, Don Gilmore, looked at me and he's like, "You love this racing stuff. Well, why don't you race?" And I said, "Well, I don't have a car. Like, it's,
Yeah.
And so he looks at the car and he looks at me and he's like, "Well, why don't you race this?" And I was just like amazing. Like, words can't describe. That's
right.
And then there would be, we would go out, I would go out with the team. There would be trials and tribulations, be it like issues with O2 sensors or clutches or things like that. And over time, there was just like this amazing buildup of exciting memories of, is it going to happen? Oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, we go out to Bonneville and it rains and then we have to go home. And then, several times it's just this, I think that happened twice, where like you get through your bailout and you've got the wristband on, and you think you're going to get but it doesn't happen. And you just learn this like amazing adventure of like these ups and downs. And it's just, everyone you'd think would be like, oh, like super frustrated with it, but it's been so fantastic. Like leading up, if it had just happened, it'd be over. All that time ago, it's
always an adventure. That's the cool part.
An adventure, yeah. And I've just been so thankful from getting to race the car for the first time at Arkansas, which is amazing, to what I just experienced at Bonneville. It's just
so neat. That's so, and I'm glad to be able to come in at the beginning too, because sharing that, you know what I mean? Because we're gonna watch you, and I'm gonna follow you. We're gonna watch you grow, and it's just amazing. I love it, and I'm so inspired by it. And I know there's so many, not only young ladies out there that'll be inspired by it, but there's a lot of people who just they get inspired by that, just that general good disposition towards the world of go get it, go, okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? I have that tattooed on my wrist here. It's a rope and it's Y with a knot. Why not? So
why not? Oh, I love that.
Like, I don't know here, why not? And they're just like, holy shit.
Like, okay, so mine's I don't know if you can see, it's a question mark on the back of my ear, and people and they go, "Why'd you get that?" And I go, "That's a good question."
Right? Exactly. That's so funny. That's awesome.
Open your ear and learn about the world. I got it when I was 16. Yeah, 16, and it was just like, open up your ears, learn about the world. Like, and I loved Indian Larry's bikes and
his style of bikes. And Larry's fabulous too.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of like a style.
Same kind of genuine disposition though, like that. And I'm the same way. You seem to be the same way. It's like that, just like take it as it comes, don't let it get. So it's really funny because I just had a friend the other day, and he's like, how you're always preaching all that, it's your choice, just be happy, and all day long. Because so the other day I just tried it. Oh, he's like, and that shit really works. And I was like, yes. Yeah. And
my favorite is Grumpy Old Men. Grumpy Old Men are my favorite.
Yeah, and he's not going to turn into a grumpy old man now, because he actually gave it a shot, said why not for a day, tried it, and said, wow. Because it's really your own perspective, It's like everybody else going to be what they're going to be, so it's funny. So
you made it such a difference right there.
Yeah, it was cool, and there's a lot of people out there that say that, it's your choice. I always say it's 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So yes.
You see something wrong, you can either complain and tell somebody, or you can fix it. This is like the only two options right there.
Right. Well, and sometimes it gets so ridiculous, like where you could just vent be like, God damn it, and screaming out. Me, I just start laughing. I giggle because it's like, you know what? Okay, if
Yeah.
that's the deal and this is where I'm supposed to do it right here, let me just stop and appease everybody and I'll laugh my way through it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like Monsters Inc., you know, the little kid,
Yeah.
when she screams, it like sets off the thing and it fills it up. But then
Yeah.
they find out when she laughs, it's even more power. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
So
That's
there's
true. I
that.
like that.
So
Good.
if you had to say who your childhood hero is, I know hero is a crazy word, but like, you know, childhood hero, who
Yeah.
would that be for you?
It'd be my mom.
I love it.
My
Tell
mom.
us. Tell
Yeah.
us what. Tell us about mom a little bit.
Oh my God, my mom puts up with so much of my shit.
I love it.
My mom
Honesty.
is
Finally.
I am so proud of my mom. She's the coolest, and like everybody like knows that I hang out with my dad the most. But I aspire to be, and I think I hope and I try to be most like my mom. She's
cool.
phenomenal. I'm so proud to say, like, she doesn't. I don't think she likes me saying it, but my mom works right now making artisanal cheese,
Oh,
and they were in an international cheese competition. They
cool.
won first place for several different categories, including like the big categories. And I tried to point out to her, I said, Mom, so you won the big international cheese competition. She said, yes. And I said, you got first place. She said, yes. And I said, so you make the best cheese in the world. She goes, well, you know, it's a team effort. We all work. I'm like, Mom, that's amazing. So my mom
Right.
and her team, they make the best cheese in the world. And
That's
I'm so proud of her.
awesome.
Yeah.
How fabulous. My friend Laura,
Yeah.
she has Farm Life Creamery. She's
Yeah,
in
I
South
heard you
Dakota.
say.
Yeah, and she makes cheese curds. Like she sent cinnamon, she sent these dill ones. That she has cheese that's everything bagel. I was like, you know, but that's cool. We have to
Yeah.
get the cheesers together. That's
Oh,
the trade recipes.
You
That's
get the
cool.
cheese curd love though. You understand? Because I'm from Quebec and poutine is like the best, but you need the proper cheese curds.
Yeah, see, she
Yeah.
has all that stuff. I've had some people do comparisons. I didn't grow up on cheese. Cheese was not a thing for me. I don't know. I like cheese, but I don't like it on sandwiches. I like it separate. I'll eat cheese and
Wow.
grapes. I like, you know, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not too much on a cheese head, but
Yeah.
it's all good. I think that's cool. Mom is your childhood hero. All
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Shout out to mom. And I love that you guys you make the best cheese in the world. I have to
Yeah.
try some of that.
Absolutely. I have to
Send
get you
me
some.
Yeah,
Get
for
some over
sure.
the border. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so then who would you say would be your racing hero?
Probably Dawn, because he gave me the opportunity. And also EJ Kowalski also gave me the opportunity to race because he reached out. It was like one of the only times I've ever had a regret in my life, and I was actually able to rectify it, which is because I don't live with regrets.
Right.
Like I never live with regrets, but I had one regret, and it was there was a race going on in Pennsylvania, and I attended taking photos, and the guy putting on the event, EJ Kowalski, asked me if I wanted to race a car, and I was not able to that day. I had to go, and I said no, I'm okay, and I always regretted it. And then years later, he contacted me and asked me if I was interested in going drag racing, and I said absolutely. And so I rectified that, and he gave me the opportunity to race one of his cars. And so him and his friends have given me all kinds of different opportunities, as well as other people, and it's snowballed since then. So Don Gilmore for giving me my first opportunity to race and being the first person to believe in me and give me that opportunity to race the coolest car. And
I
like,
love that.
yeah, I love
Thank
that
you.
car.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore. We
Yeah,
appreciate that very
yeah.
much.
Yeah, he's great.
I
He puts
do.
up with my shit too.
Nice. And then
They all do.
a photography hero? Do you have one?
So of course I'd probably say my dad, because
Oh, nice.
he's fantastic. He's just fantastic, and he doesn't know how good he is. Of course, most true artists, they will never realize how good they are. So
Right.
but everyone tells him he's just got this amazing talent, and that's between him and my mom. I'm very fortunate to have grown up in a house full of art supplies and graphic design books and inspiration, and just it's the two of them, and of course my little sister, teaching me how to have a backbone. It's just one of those things. I'm very fortunate to have all these amazing people in my life. So I'd say my dad, and if I had to pick somebody who's not in my family, I'd say a Winston Link, who used to do photography of steam locomotives. There was this time period where he documented these railroads, these aging railroads, and in a time of flash bulbs and film photography, he would set up to 40, 43 or 46 flash bulbs to capture an entire town scene at night while waiting for the train to come through on the railroad, and to capture this small town America when it was extremely difficult to do so with film and with flash bulbs. And he would string lines across rivers, and it would take a day to set up the flash bulbs and all kinds of craziness. So he's a historical inspiration, I'd say, just for what
How
he went
cool.
through. Yeah.
I love that. That is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a good guy. Yeah.
So, if you had to tell somebody what your biggest challenge thus far in racing, because you just started out,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because everybody has challenges, what would you say so far your biggest challenge has been?
Probably there was, there was one moment where, you don't want to ever let any kind of like self-doubt kind of thing affect you in that sense.
Yeah.
But there was only one moment where I was having issues with the shifter, and we've been having a lot of while driving the Iron Dinosaur. Like I've had, a throttle stick wide open while running a drag car and have to, abandon ship in a courteous way to get off the track. And
Right.
I've had problems before, but there was just problem after problem with this shifter with the car. And I, at one moment, for one short minute, I went, is it me? It was a mechanical issue, and I knew it was a mechanical issue. And in my heart of hearts, because I've been around machines my whole life, and I could feel it was a mechanical issue, but I let that moment of like, maybe it is me. Maybe I am doing something wrong. But then of course it turned out it wasn't that, but I did let that moment bug me, and I got kind of upset. And I was upset that I let it get to me. But that's probably the hardest thing is accepting that moment will happen. But don't let it bother you, because it will happen. You need to go through that. And once you've gone through it, even if it's only a minute long, some people it lasts longer than that. For me, it was a quick moment, but now it's done. And it's like, okay, well, if you know in your heart of hearts that like the answer is the transmission broke, then that's probably your intuition's probably right. So learning to, not let it bug you.
Yep.
Almost in a way.
I get that. I totally get that. And that is a difficult challenge to overcome, especially when you're doing that, because it's everything. It's very critical. There's so many critical fasteners. There's so many things. And then your reaction time, how you shift, how you move, how you, even to the point of how many breaths you take per second sometimes is like, it depends on a lot of those things. There's a lot of variables. So that's super cool. Yeah. Okay. So what would you say your favorite motorcycle you have ever photographed is?
That's a tough one too, because I had the fortune of getting to travel so much for Pascal Richard, who's the owner or was the owner of Revolution Motorcycle magazine. He gave me like my first chance. I started working for him. I think I was 18 when I started working for him. It was phenomenal. And I got to go to California, got to go to Japan for the Moon Eye show.
Oh, that was cool, huh?
That was incredible. He gave me so many incredible opportunities. So I'd say one of them would probably be, I have to say more than one, but one of them would definitely be going to the Moon Eye show. And I got to shoot at Ask Cycles. He's a Japanese builder. I got to shoot at his shop outside of his traditional Japanese home with the paper sliding walls and in the countryside. That was cool. The shooting in Japan, that was like a highlight. For stateside, I'd say there's a bike builder called American Motorcycle Service out of Massachusetts. His name's Scott. He's a builder, but there's this bike that he built called Lucifer's Hammer. It was completely engraved by a woman named Heather.
Oh, and, I know which bike you're talking about.
Yeah. So I got to shoot that bike not long after it was finished, and I got to shoot that, and then the bike was displayed at one of the art shows with my photos there, and that bike is just a pleasure to photograph because it's just so detailed.
Right.
So that was fun to shoot. The Japan experience was just incredible. And then one of my favorite photo shoots of a motorcycle I've never shared. I've never actually posted it. I've never shared it in any magazine. I shot it years ago and I've never shared it.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I've just never posted or shared because it's just I
It's
was looking at my archive the other day and only part of it, most of it, but it was only something around like 500,000 images.
so the special ones you like to keep for yourself is what you're saying. You keep them right there.
Almost. It's more that like that one I wanted to do for a magazine article, and then the article didn't happen, and that happens a lot. And I
Yes.
feel badly so many photo shoots where it was shot for a purpose, and then it got left on the cutting room floor, which is not my call, but I feel that
Right.
responsibility, and so I'd never get rid of the photos. And I'm hoping one day I do books and I do my own magazines, and I do prints, and I'm trying to, find publishers and things like that to do bigger projects and do bigger art gallery shows, or I don't know. I have huge dreams of doing all kinds of fun things. Pretty much,
I
the
know a
sky's
lot
the
of
limit,
I know a lot of people that do all that stuff that you just said. I have friends that they have art galleries in Sturgis and St. Louis and
Yeah,
the Lake of the Ozarks and all that stuff like that. We definitely have to get you in the mix.
that'd be fun.
I have friends
That's
that
what
have
I'd love to do.
the biggest
Yeah,
motorcycle magazines in the country are my friends, So yeah, let's see what we can. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Let's work
yeah.
on that for you for sure. Most
Thank
definitely.
you. Yeah, because there's a lot of amazing things like for for years when the magazine would come out, there'd be like 30 or 40 images picked for the magazine, but I take hundreds of images. So there's like every time I do a photo shoot, there's the stuff that ends up in print and gets to be published in international magazines, which is
Yeah,
like a huge
one out of
honor.
1,000 one that you take, right? You take
Yeah.
1,000 and they use one, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like all the other ones, I'm like, I'm never going to delete them, but that's how you end up with 25 terabytes worth of material.
Okay. You're familiar with Michael Lichter?
Of course, I've met Michael a
Right.
few times. I saw him actually when I was in Japan. That was funny. I
That's
was ran
so
into him.
cool. Wait,
He's
last year,
incredible. He's incredible.
next weekend is the Indian Larry block party, but last year my
Yeah.
daughter was there with me. She had her camera and he's like, take out your camera because she likes to, she's photography, and he's like, take out your camera. Where's your camera? So she took pictures of him taking pictures. I was like, that's the shot. I like that.
That's cool. Yeah, his work is absolutely out of this world.
Fabulous.
That's
So you've ridden forward while he rode backwards.
Oh yeah, my husband rode him backwards on the motorcycle a couple of times. So
that guy.
Yeah.
I love those photos of him doing that. Like I hang out of cars going
Yeah.
fast and like team photo, but I have not gotten backwards on a motorcycle. I don't know. That takes some serious hand-eye coordination.
the first Cannonball, I was on the crew for Christine Summer Simmons. It was the all-girl crew for Team Effie on the first one, and that man rode backwards on a rigid, like knucklehead. I don't even remember what it was. Carl Olson had a motorcycle, and he decided that he was going to ride backwards and all the way across the country, and I was just like, I couldn't fathom just being backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy.
That's
So,
amazing.
okay. What's your favorite route that you've ever ridden, driven? What's your, as a photographer, there's a lot of picturesque landscape that I'm sure you've traveled upon.
Yeah, I definitely have been fortunate in that way. I've done a lot of big long road trips. I was looking at different photos. I was thinking, well, if I was gonna say like, I really love Mojave, like Mojave Desert. Like anything off the 15, there's like Pioneer Saloon. Like if you leave south on the 15 and you go south, you go to the right. Well, then you have like Pioneer Saloon, which is like I think over 100 years old. And then if you go to the left, you have Nelson, Ghost Town. And then you continue south, and then when I think you get to Baker, then you take another left, and then you continue all the way down, and you get to like Kelso. And then if you continue even further, then you end up in like the Needles area, and then you can end up all the way to Amboy. And so that would be a cool route for like motorcycle people in the Mojave area. But then on the East Coast, I've been fortunate to do. I've done the Tail of the Dragon and the Cherahalla Skyway, which were both really cool.
Yeah.
Tail of the Dragon, don't be foolish. If you can't do it, don't do it. You know, it's like one of those, you know, so many people crash on that road. It's like, just do it
Yeah.
if you're experienced. But I did get to, I rode that. I wasn't in charge. I got to ride
Right.
with somebody.
Right.
But I did the Kangamangas through New Hampshire with my dad in a car, and that has a sentimental value. But I always thought that would be really cool on a motorcycle to do for anybody on the East Coast. So Mojave for West Coast and Kangamangas probably for East Coast.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Okay, so then what's your favorite event or race? If you had to pick.
Everybody knows it's Bonneville. It has to be
Yeah,
Bonneville.
has to be Bonneville.
Yeah.
I figured you were gonna say that. I was
Everybody
like, yeah,
figures.
we're
Yeah.
gonna ask that. Especially the way your face just lit up. It was almost like that the first time that boy asks you if he can come back and take you out again, right? Like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My cousin Vinny. Yeah, I love it. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so then what's the most fun you've ever had at a race?
The first time I drove the dinosaur. Absolutely phenomenal. It was just, yeah. It was everything I had ever dreamed of and more. And it was just crazy. I my whole life, that's like, ever since I started going to racetracks, that's all I wanted to do, was to get to be just me in the car, because I've always run my like little steam locomotives since I was a kid. And it was always when I would like leave the station, it's just me, my little bucket of coal, and my engine. It's just me and the engine, and we're just having a great old time. And that was like, that's my happy place, is me and my engine. And it was always like, well, I really like this car. It's a really cool machine. I really want to, like, let's just go for a ride. Like, I want to go and I love driving things, be it like a tractor or a car or a bike or any machine. I just love machines. And so I got to spend a lot of time in the cockpit of the car, and with the canopy closed, like that was like my happy spot, because it was just me in the car. And there could be tons of people in the pit, but when the canopy closes, it's just me in the car. And I was speaking with my friend Allison recently, and it's like, she was wondering what it was like. And I just like, the canopy closes and it's this huge sense of calm, because nothing matters now but you and the car. And
Right.
You're not a person, you're now a pilot, and your responsibility is to just follow, do what you were there to do to the best of your abilities, and nothing else matters other than that, and enjoy the ride.
That is so cool. I love that. That is fabulous.
Fortunate.
So like, what's your craziest breakdown memory, you or somebody else?
I've got a lot of those. I'm making a shirt right now. I started drawing it. It says every day is a shakedown run.
Yes.
It is. I've had quite a few. But one of the most memorable was probably losing the fan blade off of the 1950 Chevy with Dad in the middle of, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what state it was. Missouri. It was, all I remember is it's flat nothingness.
Yeah.
And when you look at it on the map, all it is missile silos everywhere.
Shit.
And
Yeah.
we go over there was a car behind us when it happened. We go over this railroad crossing. We're going along. It's just sunflowers and flat nothingness. Railroad crossing, and then the guy behind us, his eyes were the size of dinner plates. We didn't know what happened. So we pull over and we pop the hood, and we're looking. And of course, we were lucky it didn't go through the hood.
Oh my
I'm
God.
looking, and all of a sudden I look down and I see like the air intake, and there's a slice, and I look, and the fan blade's gone. We're like, what are we going to do? So we walk about a mile back, or about half a mile back, looking everywhere. And it's one of those things, like you say, I always look at like the silver linings. I always try to so my most vivid memory of walking along that road as the sun's going down kind of thing, and there's storm clouds on the horizon, and we're walking along, and there's just these sunflowers and these hummingbird moths or hawk moths.
Okay.
And they're just buzzing around, and they look like hummingbirds, but and it's just this visceral moment of feeling like, oh my gosh, your adrenaline's running, and you're just walking along this big, long, straight line of a road with your dad walking along, looking in between sunflowers for a fan blade, hoping that you can find a welder down the road and weld it back on. And we never found it, but then we continued down the road and found a farm, and we found a guy. We're like, maybe we can cut off one of the fan blades. And then we figured he found an electric fan that we actually zip tied through the radiator and wired up. And that, as the storm clouds were rolling in, we got to pull out of this guy's driveway. He was in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, we were hoping with the 216 inline six, that's one of the most common engines that was built.
Somebody got one somewhere.
Somebody's got one of these somewhere, and the guy's like, I got one here somewhere. He opens up the bar, and it's just like American Pickers times 10.
Right.
Like, it's in here somewhere, and you can hear like the storm come in, and we got out of there. But that was one time.
Awesome.
But, yeah,
I love that. That's a good
story.
one too.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young, it's impressionable, and that your dad just kind of says, okay, well, we're going to go. That teaches you the core value of, hey, listen, life is a journey. Just got to take each step and do the best you can and have a good attitude towards it. That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, what would you say would be your most cherished photography moment, a memory?
Yeah, I got a lot of those too. Probably when I'm trying to think what year it was. 2011, maybe. I had the fortune. It must have been about that year. I was, I think, 18 years old, and I got the opportunity to be the team photographer for Ron Fellows. He usually runs Corvette. Blanking on the races that he does other than this, but he was doing Canadian. It was NASCAR in Canada. So NASCAR was going to Canada, and I lived in Montreal, and so they were doing NASCAR at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve up in Montreal. And I got hired to be the team photographer for his team. And I was like 18 years old, shooting NASCAR on this track. That's the same track they run road course, the same road course that they run F1. And so they're doing NASCAR on a road course in Canada. It's like, oh my, what year was that? Yeah. Anyway, I'm blanking on the year. And it was just like, okay, I get to be the team photographer. And the craziest thing happened. It started to rain. And NASCAR doesn't usually run in the rain. So they pulled out these old rain tires. And so we're in the pits, and they have like the awnings, and we're like hiding under the awnings in the pouring rain, eating taquitos, watching on the little telly screen. And then like, okay, he's coming in. So I dive out with the team, and they're like, it's pouring rain, and I'm shooting photos. And then, okay, he's gone. And then we jump under the thing and eat some more taquitos. And then as it's pouring rain, it's like, oh my gosh, it's getting close to the end of the race. And then he ended up winning the race. And so we ran down the pits, and it was raining so hard that they couldn't actually do the winner's circle outside. So they did the winner's circle in the F1 garages. So like we celebrated inside, all soaking. It was the craziest thing. And I was,
neato.
No, it was crazy. I was hooked. I'm like, I want to do photography.
Yeah, right.
It was just amazing.
That is so
another crazy story.
I like that. Those are good stories, though. That's what this is all about. That's what this show is all about. Okay, so I'm going to hit you with another one then, because I want to know your most cherished racing memory.
Yeah, I just got to have that, I think.
Yeah.
That's probably, getting to finally race at Bonneville.
So that's like crazy. So like you have to, it's like a mild build-up speed, right? Yeah. And then you hit the timer, and you have a mile to go through to get to the max speed.
Essentially, so when you first start off, you have to have like a driver's license, but then you start off for your first run, you've got to go under 125 miles an hour. So you've got your push truck will push the vehicle because of the gearing in the vehicle. You're geared for up at the top end.
Right.
So when you're going, so for low gearing, you have a push truck that will push you up to about a speed of about 45 miles an hour.
Okay.
That's when I leave the push truck. So I can have my foot on the clutch and the transmission's in first with my foot on the clutch. I wait until the push truck gets me up to about 45. And that's when I ease off the clutch and put on the gas and leave the push truck. Mm-hmm. And then for my vehicle that I drive, once I take my foot off the clutch, it's a dog box style shifter. It's just straight pulls. So I'm in first, and then I just pull. Once my foot's off, I keep my foot off, and it's just pull, push, pull, and then that's how you go through the gears. You don't have to touch the clutch unless you want to downshift. So when you're done your run at the top and you're at the top end, you might want to downshift just because you need to get off the salt and you need to get to the return road. So during some of my runs, you can see the videos of like we have 360 cameras inside and outside. Like we have an inside camera that gets.
They were cool. Those videos were awesome. I love it.
Pretty cool. But you can really get a sense of like how it works and what you have to kind of the steps you have to go through. And you really, when the transmission broke, the transmission lever on the side broke. When I really wanted to get off the course, because if you shut down the course, it's a whole thing. So I put my foot on the clutch and I shifted back into first, and then I was able to lob off onto the side. So yeah, it's pretty, but yeah, that was my dream was for the longest time. Like you try to set goals or ideas of what you want to do. And that was one that was in my head, was sitting in that, having that cockpit close and seeing that line and having, be it, Jill or Doug or Nick or any of the amazing Ron, all these starters that run the starting line at Bonneville. It's always been like, oh, I wonder but that moment of when they point at you and then they do this and
you got it.
Yours.
How cool is that? I want to cry for you. I think that's so cool. I was like,
it's the best moment.
That's so neat. I mean, I get it. I think that it speaks volumes to the fact of working towards your goals.
Yeah.
And sometimes, people are impatient to have things happen instead of just allowing the opportunities to come forward.
Yeah.
But the things that you've shared here tonight, I mean, it's incredible. Like it's inspiring to I don't care at any age, you know what I mean? It gives me goosebumps. I love that. So I'm so glad
everybody should just go out and do stuff, because everybody can do stuff. And I realized the other day, like anybody when they're born is just as qualified to do anything that any other person did before them, because all you are is just, a person that's here, and everybody else who did stuff is a person who was here. So it's like, okay, let's go out and do stuff. And I've been asked like, oh, Liz, is there anything you don't do? And I go, I don't know. I haven't tried everything yet.
Right. I tell everybody that. And like, and some get tired of hearing me preach it, but can't isn't in my vocabulary. I can do anything. It might turn out really shitty. It might turn out really great. But if I put the effort forward, I can do anything.
Exactly.
And, and I don't try, because my dad showed me that when I was really young. He's like, go get the dictionary. I'm like, what? He goes, you always give me that word. I'm like, well, I tried. He's like, yeah, that's bullshit. He's like, go get the dictionary. I'm like, I don't understand this. Just get the dictionary, he'd say. And I get the dictionary, and he's like, now read it. Look it up and read it.
Yeah.
It means to attempt and never succeed. So I will lecture people about taking that out of your vocabulary, because you're already stifling yourself. I can go on a tangent.
I love it.
My kids are like, I'm a bit older than you. Like, I'm double digits, but like,
it's all good. It's just a number.
But when I was growing up, I wanted to be an astronaut, and you couldn't be an astronaut because women weren't astronauts. So it was like, I didn't understand that, because my dad told me I could be anything I wanted to be, like I'd be a Golden Gloves boxer, but I'd have cauliflower ears and I'd have to hide it, But then same thing he taught me when I started reading like real literature and things like Shakespeare. I didn't understand it. And I was like, that's not. And he goes, no, read Merchant of Venice. Well, that whole story is about her dressing up to be a lawyer to hide, to get him off. And, and you're just like, wow, this is really cool. You understand it. But I was like, okay. But yeah, I think that's super neat that, you put forward the effort and again, allow the opportunities to come through. That's super cool.
My dad says like, never self-edit. That's one of my favorite things. You never self-edit. And that's one of the biggest things is the moment you say like, if you say it's not going to happen, that's it. It's guaranteed it's not going to happen. You've already decided for yourself. As you said, like try means to attempt and never succeed. Right. You've already determined that. And so that's one of the bigger challenges too, is because it's always well and good to like, we all have these mantras and these not rhetorics, but these ideas that we tell, things that we know are truisms in life, and we tell them to ourselves, and then we'll catch ourselves doing it. And it's like, I just told somebody I shouldn't do that, that they shouldn't do. And but like we all
Right.
fall into that where like we're self-sabotaging
Right.
or have what is that? See, I'm blanking on the term right now.
Yeah, when you're manifesting stuff too, and you
Yeah,
know you can manifest whatever. The universe will give you
exactly.
whatever you put out there. That's for sure.
Yes.
I love that you're so young and you have such an old soul. That's so cool. I love that. You know,
Well, I believe that age is for people who believe in linear time. And if you
right?
don't believe in linear time, then
No,
then it doesn't
no,
matter.
way so many lifetimes for sure.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
definitely have to. Then the next question is perfect because
Yeah.
we get that you're well rounded and you definitely are an old soul. So if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self something, what would that be?
You know, that's a fantastic question. You know, if you're into, you know, quantum physics and all that kind of stuff, it's like, don't go there, don't tell anybody anything, don't even say hi. But like at the same time, if it was like in one of those kind of non time warp moments and it wasn't going to end up being the Twilight Zone episode, I'd
Right.
probably say something along the lines of like, it's going to be a wild ride, but just trust your instincts and um yeah, trust your instincts, because you know that's one thing, like I said earlier, if you guess on a test like, oh, it's answer A, and that was what your intuition. So a lot of people will ask me like, oh, how did you get so lucky as to do things? And I kind of think, well, I always tell people, you know, you work hard and all these things, but like there's little things like wish on eyelashes, you know, like
Right.
every time you have a chance, or a lucky star,
Mhm.
or if a load of hay passes, lick your thumb and stick it and seal it for luck.
Yeah.
Or one of the biggest things is if you need to make a big decision, flip a coin. Now people go, what? You leave your life up to flipping a coin? But no, it's a trick.
Right.
So if you think about it, if you give option A and option B a side of a coin and to yourself for a question you're asking yourself, and you flip the coin and you see that it's the other side and you feel disappointed, that means you just showed to yourself what you truly feel. You just showed yourself that if you pick option B, you're going to feel disappointed. So you just tricked yourself into telling yourself what you really wanted, even though
Right.
you know. So flip the coin and ask yourself, how did that make you feel? Did you feel relieved that it was the heads, or did you feel disappointed? Well, that's your answer of what you should probably do. You
I
know, it's like
love
little goofy things like that, but they might seem whimsical and bizarre and
no.
kind of funky, but when you lay it out like
Yeah.
that, they help. It makes life more fun, you know.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
That's what this show is, home of the five good things. I tell my friends, I tell myself,
yeah,
having a bad day, I stand in the mirror and tell myself five good things, because there's
yeah,
once you get past that, it can change your perspective that, well, it's not that bad. At
yeah,
least you got five good things, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then it's a progression. Sometimes it's hard to get there, but it
yeah,
forces you to take a good look at the fact that, okay, yeah, you might be getting shit on right now. However, there's some
yeah,
good stuff to be working towards not getting shit on so much, you
yeah,
know, however, whatever perspective that is. I always use that because it used to be bird poop. People always say, you know, lucky if rains on your wedding day, or
yeah.
you're standing there all dressed up for church and the bird shits on your shoulder. And I
Mhm.
never understood, but I'm Italian, so my family, none of them made any sense. I think it was the wine. They all drank too much wine for
It's
sure.
okay. I'm half Portuguese, and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
So my
wine.
my dad's English and my mom's actually from the Azores. She immigrated over when she was 6 years old. But yeah, there's definitely wine and fun sayings
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Okay,
Yeah.
so we only have a couple more questions left. If money and time didn't matter and you could take
Mm,
photos anywhere,
mm.
where would you go?
That's just it. I would literally just, if I had money to go anywhere and that wasn't an issue, I would just literally at the drop of a hat be like, oh, there's a cool board track race, or there's like a thrill show, or there's a big race going on in Bolivia at the land speed racing there, or oh, there's
Olivia.
suddenly they're doing some sort of land speed race in Saudi Arabia or something, you know, like crazy story, whatever. Just to go anywhere and shoot anything and just be able to, it would be like, okay, I have a myriad of places I
Right.
go and do. But yeah, just to have that ability would be fantastic. Just to
You'd be on world tour for like 5 years
yeah.
until however long it took you to get
Yeah.
all the ones you could think of, right?
Yeah, because there's
That's
so many amazing things going on. A lot of people seem to be like disappointed that like, oh, this is gone and that is gone, and there's a lot of focus on the way things used to be.
there's so
But
much new
there's so
stuff.
many amazing new events and things to
Yeah,
like. I have a friend who was going, Biketoberfest or things like that, and it's
I'll be
like
there.
if time and time's more valuable than money and more difficult to get, to be honest, like, but
Yeah.
every weekend there's like 6 events going on, and that's exciting. But if I had the ability to go everywhere and anywhere, I'd be all over the place even more than I am now. My
Right.
goodness.
Anytime you want to come
Yeah.
to Biketoberfest too, because they do the Biketoberfest in March also, and I
Yeah.
think it's in May in Tennessee. But the Sons of Speed Racing, the
Yeah, I've
vintage
heard of
motorcycle racing, you'd
yeah.
probably like that. It's
I-
interesting.
I need to like clone. That would be great if I, was able to time travel back to see myself. I'd be like, look into cloning so there could be more of you. Start
That's it.
looking
I
now.
know. That's badass. Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
want to do so much. I need like 5 of me to report back, but
Yeah.
then it's not. Then you start splitting up the authenticity, so you can't do that. We just need more time, more money. That's how that goes. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the same thing about racing. So, where would you race if there was anywhere? The money didn't matter.
Well, that's the same kind of thing, because then because I've had the fortune of being in so many different forms of motorsports for my journalism, it's like,
You know
would I
all
want
of
to
them, right?
I would want to run a nostalgia, funny car or fuel altered, as well as going and running the Baja race and going and doing dirt track racing, as well as doing, peaking to Paris, or doing, north to south, literally from the full, North American continent all the way down to the tip of South America, or in a Model T, doing cross country. I just had the fortune, another huge honor, is I got to race at Indianapolis in a Model T and in a Hudson. I got to drive a 1916 Hudson Speedster, as well as a Model T. But like, the idea of taking something like a Model T, people have done this though. I mean, that would not be the first, but to take a Model T and drive from coast to coast,
Yeah.
sign me up for that kind of party.
Right.
We'll do it with like the Ray-Ban point of view, glasses the whole way, and you can be on the road. Like there's a million and one things.
The Race of Gentlemen
Yeah.
does that. Maybe one of those guys needs somebody to drive their car. Okay, if you guys are in need, she can drive anything. There's no doubt. We've already made sure. We've already vetted her. So.
I've gone through the ringer. No, but I'm honestly willing to take on almost any adventure, really, just because so far saying yes has been the best adventure. And so, yeah, who knows whatever's coming up in the future, I'm all aboard. Well, it's going to be fun.
I love that. Okay, so can you tell us something about yourself that most people don't know?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question too, but probably because everybody knows all the weird stuff, like that I run trains and that I worked on tanks and all that kind of fun stuff. But I guess a lot of people don't realize, because I grew up in Quebec, I'm fully bilingual. So I speak French.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people don't know that I'm fully bilingual and I can switch in between the two languages. Alors, bonjour tout le monde, si vous parlez français, je suis tellement heureux que vous regardez cette émission, et je suis comme honorée que vous voulez parler ou suivre mon record puis mes courses. Alors, merci à tout le monde, je vous aime. And it's like one of those fun things you can bounce between.
So I just took on a position at EMC Shocks.
In France.
Headquarters is in France.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's so cool.
So in all that you said, I heard you say something about speak French.
Yeah.
And you were honored about something, but past that,
yeah,
I need Rosetta Stone because I'm going to be going to France, so I have to figure that out.
Well, yeah, and you're learning. There's a big difference between Parisian French and Quebecois.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so when you're looking on Rosetta Stone, make sure you're looking up France French, because it's different. It's very different.
Not the Canada slang version, but the real Paris, France version. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's a big difference. It's like, Spanish. in
Yeah.
Spain or Spanish in,
In Cuba and South Florida. Yes. I
yeah, or
totally
like
get it.
there's so many dialects. It's like you speak Spanish. It's like
All of it.
there's so many dialects, and I think that's the most beautiful thing. People ask like my favorite thing about the U.S., and to me, it's the dialects and
Mhm.
the accents, the sayings, the dialects, everything about language and etymology to me is just fascinating. And so the fact that there's so many different Spanish, or that my mom's Portuguese,
I was gonna say
you
Spanish
know,
people can't understand the Portuguese, and it's
it's
kind
all
of, but they
different.
don't. It's not the same. It's kind of like the
Yeah,
Quebec French versus the Paris French. Yeah,
very different.
same
Very,
thing
very
like
different.
that for
Yeah,
sure. That
it's
is
fun.
so cool. All right. Well, lastly, if you would be kind enough to tell the audience and myself your 5 good things that you're grateful for that are good for you, we'd love to hear them.
So that's a fantastic thing that you ask people, and I think it's just absolutely great. And it's definitely difficult to come down for me to pick just 5, because I try like every day. I'm like so thankful for so many things, but if I had to pick 5, it would be, of course, my family and my friends. Um, Definitely like friends that includes like the whole racing community and all these people, that because everybody I meet, I genuinely care about in this, in a strange way. Like so my family, my friends, I really, I love just getting to be alive and getting that privilege of getting to walk around and to explore the world and have that ability and that privilege to be alive and exploring this world, because not everybody has that privilege. So that's something that's like really, really fantastic. Um, I'm very, very thankful for like the small moments that catch you during the day, like appreciating a beam of sunlight, or a towel that actually absorbs water,
Yes.
or like when you have a little moment where you're like, damn, that's great, like those little moments when the coffee actually doesn't taste like it's made out of acorns, like
Yeah.
those
Right.
little moments. That's probably my 4th, is just enjoying those little moments every day, and like when your plant's growing properly. And then the last thing is just, you can see that I celebrate every aspect of existence through my photography, and I'm very thankful that I've been given that gift to be able to catch whatever it is. I don't know how it happens. I'm just very fortunate to be able to do that, and I'm very thankful to have that ability to capture and see the world, because not everybody sees the world. Everybody looks, but not everybody can see, and I'm very fortunate to have that ability, and I'm just very thankful that I have some way to capture that and share that with people, and that people actually care and enjoy it, and see that I see them, people around me in the world around me, and the things that they do and their efforts and the stuff that they build and they create, and it's seen and appreciated, and I can capture that and show it back to them. That's pretty magical. So I'm thankful for that ability. So that's probably my 5 things.
I
Oh, and cats.
absolutely
And
love that.
cats.
And
Cats.
cats. I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love that. And I
Yeah.
can honestly say I'm so honored and so thrilled that you were here.
Yeah.
Tonight is probably one of our longer shows, which I think is fabulous because everybody will go back and watch. And not for
Mhm.
anything, you absolutely inspired me. You made me
Thank you.
smile. You made me feel good. And also, I so look forward to actually getting to know you better and getting to
Thank
spend some
you.
time.
Me
You are
too.
genuinely such an awesome, awesome human being. And I mean, I do my
Thank you.
research beforehand, but
Yeah.
like just your spirit and just all of that. And I want nothing but the best for you. And I always want to be there to support you and cheer you on for
Thank
anything you
you.
do because you are an amazing young lady. So
Thank you
I,
so
I
much.
I look forward to that. And I thank you so much for being here. Again, everybody, when you see
Oh,
this incredible
sure.
young lady out at the races, taking pictures, wherever you see her, make sure you stop, you say hello, you share a smile, find out what she's got going on. And then Iron Dinosaur Racing, let's cheer her on. Let's everybody get out there and let's cheer her on. Miss Liz, again, I thank you so very much. Can you do me a huge favor, though?
Yes. Absolutely anything.
Please thank your mom and dad and your baby sister who never
Yeah.
really take no crap. Please thank
Yeah.
them. Tell them that I said it's such a joy and an honor to spend time with you. And I know that has so much to do with them and all of you as a family unit. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that. And please share anything and everything that you do. Tag us on Facebook. You have my cell phone number. I look
Yeah.
forward to more, for
I
real.
can't wait to hang out. I can't wait for us to
Yes.
actually hang out. It's going to be so much
Yes.
fun. We're doing mini bike races and
Very
chats.
much
And
so. Yeah,
gonna
and
be
anything
great.
you want to do in the motorcycle world, I'm,
Yeah.
in the United States part, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll check out some Canadian stuff, and maybe we could all get a bunch of girls together, go venture down to Mexico, and see what we like about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I named my car Maya Riviera, and I kind of think I should maybe
saw
go there at
that.
least once. Like it's a resort town, so
I love that. I think that's fabulous.
that'd
All
be
right,
great.
kiddo. Well, thank
I'm
you
honored.
again so
Thank
much.
you.
Me too. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, how fabulously wonderful is that? Am I not so lucky? I tell you that all the time. I'm so lucky. This young lady just inspired the shit out of me, and I had to share her. She had an issue on the salt with the transmission. She handled it so good. She hasn't been racing that long. And you could see just how incredible she is. So that was a really long show, and I'm so happy, super excited for that. Okay, well, my afterthought is, after thinking about all of this stuff that just went on in my mind with this young lady and how fabulous she is, I absolutely feel inspired to go ahead and try something new, be adventurous, and do something that just seems outside the box. What she said was true. Time is our most valuable commodity. You can't ever get it back, and there's never enough of it. So whatever you do, take some time, spend it with someone you love, be good to yourself, be kind, it matters. And what I always say, 5 good things, having a hard time. All right, and here's 5 good. Be kind to yourself and others, it matters. Share a smile with a stranger. We know I love that one because it does. It can change somebody's whole perspective. Help someone who needs it, even if you need help yourself. What you put out in the universe is what you get back. Find joy in one small thing every day. It is a must. It really does change your life. It's your choice to be happy. Find joy, spread love. Not in that kind of way, if that's where your mind's in the gutter too. In the real way, like positively. All right. And then remember, spread your sunshine even on the rainy days. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much. I love you. I'm grateful for having you. And next week we have another fabulous guest. So I will see you next week, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time right here. Have a great chopper week. I love you all.